Here we are, Monday of a new week. I dropped Kat off at work, then stopped at Canadian Tire to check out the garden centre. And to pick up a can of wood stain. My plan this week, during our time in the city, is to highlight a couple of projects that I decided I would work on as I'm hanging out during the day waiting for Kat to finish work. So sit back, relax, and enjoy watching me do the work. Hi, I'm Kat.
And I'm Kat.
And we're the Traveling Wildberries.
Hey folks, that image of the little dude with the shovel in the intro should give you some idea of my aptitude when it comes to certain projects. Nah, I'm not that bad. Let's just say I generally get things looking good enough that I feel content with my efforts. But at the same time, I'm no professional by any stretch of the imagination. The first project I have on the agenda is the sliding door. I decided the sliding door that separates the front cab from the main RV area could use a coat or two of wood stain. So I scouted a nice little place not far from the newly built War Museum along the parkway where I could actually take the door outside and work on it there. Once I was done putting on the first coat, I went for a nice long walk along the parkway to allow some time for the stain to dry. When I got back from my walk, I put another coat on. This time, I simply went down to the waterfront to hang out a while as the second coat was drying. When I got back, I reinstalled the door and decided to drive over to the other beach area to have a look to see what was going on over there. I have to say, the beaches along the parkway here are just so beautiful. I can totally appreciate why people would be attracted to this area. Yeah, I realized the stain could use some more air drying since the smell was still quite strong inside the RV. So I brought the door back outside and propped it up next to the portable solar panel. There we go. Dry the wood and replenish the batteries at the same time. Sounds good. For the record, I do have a plan to install solar panels on the roof at some point, but I just haven't gotten around to it yet. So for now, I'm using the portable kit. Hey, check this out. This beach area has its own Cadillac outhouse. It was built and donated by local college students. Yeah, it's just a regular seating area, but it's still pretty fancy. 4:30 rolled around, so I headed over to grab Kat at work.
And I suggested that we go for a walk before we have the barbecue.
Sounded good to me, so here we go.
After we ate, we went back to the beach area to check out a magnificent sunset.
Just then, the quiet of the amazing sunset was somewhat interrupted by this neat little speedboat zooming around the shoreline. And that was our Monday. Welcome to Tuesday. Today's project is replacing the anti-slip runners. After a few situations while climbing in and out of the RV, I realized that it would probably be a good idea to replace the old anti-slip runners on the steps. So, after dropping Kat at work, I grabbed a few supplies, then headed down to the waterfront to get started. Once I got parked and settled in, I started peeling off the old anti-slip sections from the passenger side. I was interrupted a couple of times by some friendly passers-by to ask about the RV and to share their stories. Say hello to Judith and her cute little puppy dog named Blue. Judith shared a great story with me about how she moved to Australia to get married and then lived there for several years before finding her way back to Canada, well, Ottawa specifically. She said one of the things she missed most about this area was the distinct changes in seasons. A bit later, this couple stopped by to ask about the RV. They were entertaining the idea of getting one, but were undecided about whether to go with the tow vehicle concept or one like this, which is all one unit. I shared my thoughts on this topic, which is basically what you're intending on doing as you travel will determine which style is best for you. Once I finished up, I put away the tools and cleaned up, and then sat back to enjoy the beautiful day. Reg and his wife came over to chat for a while as well. They were from out west, and they shared a bunch of neat stories about places that they had been. They said that Kat and I should go visit those places once we find ourselves in that part of Canada. Shortly after they left, I captured this mother duck and her little ones as they sauntered by on the water. I decided to share it with you. Then, before you knew it, it was once again time to head out to grab Kat at work. Welcome to Wednesday, a day of fun and games. I was about to say a day of rest, but those of you who know how much exercise goes into a round of golf would know that it couldn't really be called a day of rest. That's right, after I dropped Kat off at work this morning, I went golfing with some friends. I don't golf often, but it was fun. And finally, welcome to Thursday. Thursday's task was decided for me when the blind on the kitchen window broke. This meant that it was time to replace the kitchen blind. I figured since I was working on the kitchen, I would also revamp the counter area as well. So today I situated myself in the parking lot at Home Depot. After going in to grab some supplies, I got to work. First, I cleaned off the counter and took off the faceplate over the stove. Then I removed the old broken kitchen blind and replaced that. And here's the results. Hope you like it. Once I was done, I once again went to grab Kat at work. We drove down to the parkway and had supper. Then we watched yet another beautiful sunset. It's Friday, our last day in town for this week. After I dropped Kat at work, I parked the RV and cooked my breakfast. At 4:30, I grabbed Kat at work and we headed back to the house for the weekend. That's it for this week's adventures. Stay tuned for some big upcoming events this summer.